Today on American Sports Cavalcade, it's season-opening action in the sportsman classes of the National Hot Rod Association. Top alcohol dragster pilots, along with their counterparts in the fiberglass-bodied top alcohol funny cars, will be striving to run the quarter mile in less than 6 seconds. Then, it's the exotic machines of Competition Eliminator in what should be some of the closest side-by-side racing of the day. Welcome, everyone, to the newly renovated and thoroughly modern Pomona Raceway for the Chief Auto Parts Sports Nationals. 1 week ago, the NHRA's debut of this beautiful new tower complex was postponed by badly needed rain in Southern California. But before the weather set in, fans were treated to a new national record at top alcohol dragster set by the kid from Bass Lake, California, Brooks Brown, at a 5.69 second elapsed time in what is truly a unique machine. Well, here is that bad boy motor that pushed Brooks Brown to a new national record and is proving to be such a pain to the blown alcohol set. It uses a supercharger style injector, but there's no blower, just this plenum chamber. It's 525 cubic inches, 99% nitromethane in the tank. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans. And Brooks, you got to drive this car not like a blown alcohol car, more like an old top fuel car.
Yeah, it is. Identically to an old top fuel car. Leave the start mat at an idle, about 3.5 seconds out, shift, and drives right away from him.
Now, the blown alcohol guy in the other lane, he's raising the RPM to the moon and whacking the throttle. Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm more of a menace to him because I sit there and idle, and they're usually listening to the motors come up.
They're afraid of you at the far end. That's where you drive around them.
Yeah, they know about half track or three-quarter tracks when I start to really charge, and I drive right around them.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, for the alcohol funny car slant, here's the senior editor of Car and Driver magazine, but more importantly, my friend, Brock Yates.
Well, Steve, you're not going to snort any nitro fumes around that #1 funny car of Bob Newberry's, who comes in as the Winston champion and top alcohol funny car with a pretty basic setup. In fact, this is last year's winning championship car, Bob, and starting out really well here so far.
Well, we do have basically the same combination as we ran the previous year, and it was very successful for us last year. We ran 593 in a final here, and that's the same number that we qualified here with also. So we're real pleased with that.
Now, Top Gun, everybody's after you. That puts a lot of pressure on a champion. I mean, it's easy to chase people, but once you're on top, you know that you're the man. You're a marked man.
Well, we're going to try to stay there and use the same philosophy that we used in '92. We're just going to take one round at a time.
So far, so good. Off to a great start so far.
We're real pleased with the performance, and hopefully, if we don't make any mistakes here, we'll be in the final round.
Okay, go get him.
Thank you.
Bob Newberry. And now, for the third class we're covering today, let's go to my pal, Bob Fry.
Well, Brock, that third eliminator we'll take a look at is Competition Eliminator. The 32 quickest cars ever in the history of the Chief Auto Parts Sports Nationals are assembled here at Pomona, and it includes a couple of 190-mile-per-hour dragsters and a couple of supercharged Alders. But one of the toughest cars in the field is the 6-cylinder K Alder of Larry Cobb. Larry, you're from Baltimore, and that's a long way to go drag racing.
Well, wherever we got to go, we'll go, and we just want to race really bad, and it's the first one of the year, and we're just ready to go.
It ought to be interesting for a guy like you to get a chance to meet up with a lot of these West Coast cars that you just don't normally see back east.
Very rarely. Usually at Indy, we'll see some of them come halfway across, but other than that, never. We just have to come out here to meet them.
You're going to have to hold off some big top-end charges the way this field's assembled.
Whatever it takes, we're going to try to win this race.
Should be a magnificent eliminator bracket today, Competition Eliminator here at Pomona. Steve?
Okay, thank you, Bob. It's time to get with the action, sports fans. We begin with the second round of top alcohol dragster competition, and that is Bill Barney. He is a professional in a sportsman category. Don't ask. Somehow, he manages through sponsorship and race winnings to support a family. In the far lane is a local driver, Larry Sutton, and he has been a big story, Brock Yates. He defeated the world champ Blaine Johnson in round one with a big hole shot.
Absolutely. Johnson was really surprised because Sutton ran a 6:04, and he was only the 15th qualifier, so he knocked off a major player when Johnson went down.
Now, if anybody knows how the starting line works, though, it's Larry Sutton. He has been a professional starter at drag strips all over Southern California when they still existed since the middle 60s. So Larry has pushed that button and watched more wheels leave the beam than probably anybody on the planet other than Buster Couch, NHRA's official starter. and he uses that advantage. Sutton from Anaheim Hills, California, only qualified 15th, but he's improved on that performance as he goes into the second round. Bill Barney used to be out of Sacramento, California, but figures Knoxville, Tennessee was a better base to run all the divisional and national events. He has one of the few 300-inch chassis wheelbases in the entire eliminator category. Most guys don't feel you need it that long, but Barney says he did it for stability.
A lot of Barney's equipment floats around in alcohol dragster ranks. He's one of the best of the fabricators and builders, and keeps a lot of guys in business just through his expertise.
The RPMs come up. Sutton is away first. Can Sutton do it again? Yes, he can. The green car owned by Jerry Darian wins at 6:01 to a losing 5:97. So now Blaine Johnson has good company in Bill Barney as they both fall to the hole shot. Watch the car in the far lane.
Oh, boy, there it is. A 410 and to Barney's 461, and that did it because Barney ran a good ET, but actually a little quicker, a 597 against the 601 for Sutton, but it was that reaction time that did it for Sutton. So 2 major names fall to Sutton already.
We'll be back with more from the Cheap Auto Parts Sports Nationals right after these messages. Stay with us, everyone, from Pomona, California.
Back at the Cheap Auto Parts Sports Nationals as we get ready for more round 2 action in Top Alcohol Dragster. And Steve Evans, the man in the far lane, has had everybody talking so far this weekend.
Yeah, that is Brooks Brown, the guy I talked to earlier in our show in the Open with the new national record at 569. But one thing his opponent, Jay Payne, knows is that those nitro cars have never achieved much consistency. Only 2 drivers since about 1975 have actually won an event title with an injected car. Brooks Brown being one of them. He's only 20 years of age. You just saw his car owner back away. That is Tom Topic. Out of the beautiful Central California town of Bass Lake, California, is Brooks Brown. Jay Payne, lives about 15 miles from Pomona Raceway here in Upland, California. He's been running all kinds of alcohol cars as long as the category has been in existence. A darn good racer. And I'll tell you, Brooks Brown knows that. Even though Brown appears on paper to have a big advantage, he has got to match wheels off the starting line. He can't be another Bill Barney or Blaine Johnson.
No, Larry Sutton sure has proven the fact that upsets can happen here. And look at this.
They leave very close together, but a full car length victory. And I'll tell you, this has got to be demoralizing for the alcohol guys. Brooks Brown runs a 586 and puts away Jay Payne's 593. A 593 should win just about any drag racer in, but not when you race that nitro car. Both ran almost exactly the same speed at 233 miles an hour and change. With the wheels in the air, you can see how much harder the Jay Payne car launched. Plus, he had about a 100th advantage off the mark. But here is where they fear the nitro cars. Look at Brooks Brown assert himself in the far lane. Jay Payne is going, oh my gosh, he's done it to another one. This time it's me.
All right. Well, you telling me he looked a little grim at half track, but you drove around him, huh?
Yeah, he was out on me at half track and put it in high gear, drove right around him again.
This old rascal's running better and better all the time.
Yeah, it's getting pretty consistent, and that's the way people said it can't be done, but we're proving it can be done.
86, Brooks. Is that going to work for you? You got to step it up a little bit.
That should work. We're going to see if we can step it up for the next 2 rounds. We'd like to stay ahead of him a little bit.
Go get him.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Brooks Brown having a darn good time. This whole team does. They race strictly for the fun of it. It's their recreation. Okay, here we go. 3rd race in this round, 2nd round actually, of Top Alcohol Dragster. Kind of a misnomer with that nitro car in here, but he certainly belongs in the category. All right, and next up is Russ Conroy in the near lane, being backed up in his burnout tracks, which is very important. Now, his car sports the fairly conventional Keith Black engine, around 460 cubic inches. He qualified 13 at a 6.02, beat Steve Perry in round number 1, and comes from San Dimas, California, which is about a block away from Pomona Raceway. The other car, Rick Santos, that's a whole other animal, though, Brock, from Northern California.
It sure is, Steve. That is a small block Chevy. Most of these, as you know, are big blocks and a very rare machine. And take a good look, because it's the last time you're going to see him today. Santos red lights against Conroy, who moves on. Conroy actually only runs a 629 at 160. Santos would have had him beat at a 605, 221. But the red light put him away, Steve.
Wasn't even a close red light, a .36, a .40 being perfect. All right, up next, this will be the final race in this round of top alcohol dragsters. Over in the far lane, in fact, there you see her doing her burnout. That is Tiffany Highland, and she will be up against Frank Pedregon of the drag racing Pedregons. He has two brothers in the nitro classes, world champion Cruz Pedregon and his brother Tony in Top Fuel. So this family knows a lot about the quarter mile. Now, before we get to this race, as the engines continue to build up heat and they concentrate on getting their act together, let's go down to the far end. Brock Yates is with Russ Conroy.
Hi, Russ.
Hi, Brock.
Good to see you, sir.
Nice seeing you.
29. He got a Rick took a red light. So did you know that? Did you see that?
I didn't see the red light, but I saw the wind light come on, and I shook it. And so with the wind light on, the shake means I'm not going to get low ET away from Brooks Brown.
No, I don't think you're even close, right?
No, I not even if I left yesterday. So I went ahead and clicked it and saved the parts, and then
You got to. He's running in the in 89s, and he thinks that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough to beat. Can you handle it? Can you step this thing up to that?
no, I cannot step up to that. And I'm going to have a break to win it. I can get to a high 90, 590, 98, 95. But no, I'm not in his ball game yet.
Well, let's go find a 90 and see what happens.
All right, Brock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure, Rod.
That wasn't an interview. That was just a nice friendly conversation between two guys. That was terrific. All right, Tiffany Highland. She is really a comer in this sport. She qualified number 6 at a 597. So if anybody can run with these nitro cars, Tiffany might be the one to do it. In fact, she beat a nitro car in round number 1, Mark Nyber out of Phoenix, Arizona. Tiffany hails from Springfield, Oregon, and has some good corporate sponsorship. Frank Pedregon out of Phillips Ranch, California, which is about 3/10 of a mile from Pomona Raceway. The locals are doing very, very well here today in alcohol dragster competition.
I suppose the Pedregon family can sit on their front porch and listen to how Frank does today.
Oh, I guarantee you they can. All right, Tiffany Highland, she qualified 6th. Pedregon qualified 3rd, but yet only a few hundredths of a second separate them. That's how tightly compacted this field was from qualifying. Very competitive. It's a good race. It's a real good race. Tiffany has to come from behind, and she does it cleanly. Her mom likes that a lot. A 591. She improves tremendously in her qualifying effort at 232 miles an hour. Pedregon slows down from his qualifying try at a 604, 229 miles an hour. But Pedregon was off the mark first by 200, and that's something Tiffany will have to be very careful of. You just can't be 200s late and continue in elimination with this kind of a field.
She had good power on the top end, though, and that will put her into the next round, the final 4. So Tiffany Highland moves on.
And in the semifinal round, Tiffany Highland will take on Larry the Snake Sutton. 2 hole shots to his credit so far on eliminations. And in the second pair, it'll be Brooks Brown, the killer nitro car, against Brock's friend, Russ Conroy. Right now, let's go down to the far end. Brock is with Tiffany Highland. She's going to be a happy kid.
Well, Tiffany, good strong pass in 91. And I think you're the only one other than Brooks who was in the 5s in that round. So got to be pretty encouraging.
Oh, it's very exciting. Yesterday was our first 591 and then again today. And I think we really got it into it this time. And I'm really hoping for a win today.
Go get them.
Thank you.
If she can stay cool and cut some good light, she might win her first ever national event right here at Pomona. Stay with us, everyone. We will be right back.